I've been chosen to spearhead the Frogman discussion.
You're the man now, Frog.
I quit.
She-Hulk. She's big and she's green. But as we saw in the trailer for the new Disney Plus show, she's not the only big green character to be making their MCU debut. That's right, there's another big green weirdo in town. Watch the video to find out who we're talking about. So the new She-Hulk trailer has come out and we've talked about it. Everyone's talking about it. The topic of the day is what's going on in this trailer. Are they going to fix the effects so that She-Hulk doesn't look like an Avatar ripoff? What does it mean to be a female character protagonist in the MCU? Is this going to be funny or stupid? These are the questions people are asking, but we're here to ask a different question.
Things can be funny and stupid, Brian. Take dogs.
With that in mind, we're here to talk about a character who appears for maybe 1 second of footage, but who I was chastised for not referencing in our last video by a friend of mine. And we're going to talk about a little character named Frogman.
There are no little characters, Brian. Only I have no follow through on that. In your defense, I think he showed up for like less than a second. I completely missed him the first time I watched the trailer. I went back in, I rewatched it. It's like it's just so quick. I
saw him and there was zero recognition to the point that I just assumed I was like, I guess they'll tell me who that is when I watch the show, which is technically how you're supposed to watch most trailers. You're supposed to say, I will learn about that at the proper time and not
with a sense of anticipation and wonder.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So upon learning that was a character named Frogman, I said to myself, okay, Frogman. I know who Frogman is. And then I found out, no, I don't. I apparently don't know who Frogman is. So I have something, but I'll get into it after you, Tom, tell us what you know about the character named Frogman.
I've been chosen to spearhead the Frogman discussion.
You're the man now, Frog.
I quit. So,
go on.
Frogman. Who doesn't love a good Frogman? I was excited to see Frogman. I think we all were. Frogman started out, I think he was introduced in the early 80s, if I'm not mistaken. 1981.
82, but yes.
82, okay.
Yeah.
He's a guy named Eugene. And he follows in the footsteps of noble characters like Otis from the Superman movie and Sheriff J.W. Pepper from those Roger Moore James Bond films. He's the Lou Costello. He's the silly fat man who stumbles into a bucket of molasses and trips and falls down in a big cream pie. He's a weird dude. He is the son of a, I would say, C-list villain from Daredevil, who was very much a guy who was okay at making things, so he built a suit in the shape of a frog that could bounce real good. And he tried to use that to do crime. And Daredevil said, don't do that, sir. And did they get into it, Donnybrook. And then years later, his son Eugene decided to use his father's old technology to become a superhero. But darn it all if he wasn't a Mr. Magoo.
The apple didn't fall very far from the lily pad.
And then it bounced.
To mix a metaphor very poorly.
So
that's Frogman.
Now, do we have confirmation that this is Frogman? Could it be his dad? Are they introducing Leapfrog? Is this going to be a generational thing? Is this a setup for Phase 5, which I think we've already, in our hearts, determined is going to be a very Frogman-centric situation for the MCU?
I don't know the answer to that question. I don't know the answer to that question. I don't know if it's supposed to be Frogman or Leapfrog or some other new version of the frog-based Marvel super character. It might as well be any of them. I have no idea. I will say that knowing now who it is and who he's supposed to supposedly be, I'm definitely even more interested in seeing what She-Hulk has to offer. I can already envision that this is going to be a super character who tries to fight crime, as you described, screws it up, and then is probably getting sued by the criminals he was trying to apprehend, and She-Hulk has to defend him, or some variation of a situation.
Great idea.
I'm ready to watch that show.
Maybe his dad is in legal trouble thanks to all of his no good Nick.
There you go.
And they need a good lawyer.
So we can get some fun flashbacks to a guy in a frog suit just having the worst old time doing either crime or crime fighting. Either way, I'm ready for it.
I would genuinely love to see Charlie Cox Daredevil fighting Frogman or Leapfrog.
Oh my God.
Like if we get
what
that
if Charlie
character-
Cox was on the opposing council?
There you go.
It's a civil suit, and he's representing the other frog person in some way.
That works.
That would be great. That would be great. Now I'm even more excited. On the subject of Daredevil, this is why I thought I knew who Frogman was. Back in the early 2000s, late 90s to early 2000s, you're somewhat familiar with the Marvel Knights Daredevil?
It was crankier, not your grandpa's Daredevil.
Right. This was one of Kevin Smith's big forays into mainstream comics. It was the late 90s. He had a really good Daredevil run, penciled by Joe Quesada, the future, at that time, editor-in-chief of Marvel Comics. And so that book took a really long time to come out because Kevin Smith takes a long time to write, and Joe Quesada, I guess, takes a long time to draw. Anyway, by the early 2000s, there was a fill-in writer by the name of Brian Michael Bendis.
He's not going anywhere.
And then the artist changed to David Mack, who was doing covers for this series of books. This was right after the storyline that introduced upcoming Disney Plus character, TV show character, or I guess star. I'm trying to get into Echo is what I'm alluding to. Echo was introduced in this run. So right after the Echo storyline, the book takes this hard left turn into Brian Michael Bendis written mystery drama from the perspective of Daily Bugle journalist Ben Urich, who is investigating what has happened to this little boy who is weirdly catatonic in a hospital. He keeps drawing these pictures of Daredevil and a green monster. And we come to find out that this green monster is actually a version of Frogman that I could not find on any Marvel wiki. I don't believe this character ever gets a real name, but we know that his son is named Timmy, and that's all we know. And in a fight with Daredevil, this abusive father yells at his young boy, and the young boy kills either accidentally or on purpose his father while he's beating up Daredevil on the roof of a building.
Okay.
That's what you find out at the end of this probably nearly 20-year-old story. Spoilers, sorry. That's what I thought. That's my only knowledge of Frogman in any capacity. And that's Leapfrog. Did I say Frogman? It was Leapfrog. I don't even know anymore.
Leapfrog.
I can't even keep track. So this is a criminal version of Leapfrog. It's not clear. It's apparently not the official version of Leapfrog. But if you're interested in reading something to do with a guy in a frog costume that's actually a pretty good comic book, track this one down. It's Daredevil number 16, I believe, from the series that started in 98. And it's illustrated by David Mack. He's got gorgeous interiors. They're all like painted watercolor, it looks like. Really cool stuff, an interesting comic, and an early look at the kind of stories that Brian Michael Bendis would do with mainstream superheroes. This was kind of early in his career with Marvel, and then shortly after this, he kind of got the keys to the kingdom and just did like everything. So it's a really actually interesting comic book series, or at least a short storyline, I should say. It's about 4 issues long. It's a nice, self-contained little thing that will give you some interesting glimpse at how cool and interesting comics can be if you're kind of not as into the Marvel comic book stuff. And it's got a guy in a frog costume that's actually kind of taken seriously. Hard to believe as it may be. So that's all I know about Frogman / Leapfrog.
You did terrific work.
Thanks, man.
The only
so
thing I
proud
think
of
that we
myself.
didn't touch on,
Yes.
you remember the 50 States Initiative?
Yes.
Yeah.
After
Leapfrog.
Civil War.
After
during
Civil
Civil
War,
War.
the Marvel Universe got they decided to all the good guys were going to get separated out into teams, and every state would get its own team of superheroes.
Kind of a
Frogman,
good idea.
Kentucky.
Why?
I got to assume they just needed to put him somewhere.
Yeah.
Turned out to be a scroll, by the way, just before the comment section explodes.
Oh, yeah.
It was actually a scroll the whole time.
He turned out to be a Skrull, which obviously had an effect on Secret Invasion, which came out after that. So maybe we've got a Secret Invasion show coming up. Maybe we'll see Frogman from She-Hulk again in Secret Invasion, revealed to be a secret evil ?
Wouldn't it be wild if, like, the one corner of the Marvel Universe that the MCU decided they were going to do exactly right, we're going to go straight from the comics, is going to be the history of Frogman.
I'm ready for it.
We don't want to
Why
piss
not?
off the fans. Yeah.
Let's do it. What do you all think? Let us know in the comments about what you think about Frogman, Leapfrog, Skrulls, Kentucky, all of it.
Especially Kentucky.
Thanks for watching Everything Marvel. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more videos about your favorite Marvel stuff is coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.